Let's turn to Multnomah County politics now, because in November, voters will elect a new county chair. It is a position that holds a lot of power. Current chair Jessica Vega Peterson announced late last year she would not seek re-election. Right now, the field of candidates to replace her includes 2 current county commissioners and 1 former commissioner. Shannon Singleton and Julia Brim-Edwards announced their campaigns earlier this year. And just 2 weeks ago, one of the most vocal critics of the current chair announced a campaign of her own, Dr. Sharon Meieran. And joining me now live in studio is Sharon Meieran. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so you initially said you didn't want to run for county chair. What changed, and what was the moment you decided you just had to get back into public office?
So I did not want to run, that is correct, because running for office is not a pleasant thing, and it is often much more sort of transactional and superficial. It's all this gamesmanship that is not my thing. I'm a doctor, Jim. I'm an ER doctor, and I like to get things done and just focus on the problems and solve them. So what I did to avoid running was I spent the last year writing a plan to fix the county. It was working with experts, people on the front line with lived experience, and it is a comprehensive plan of how we can fix our county, turn it around, get it on the right track, because we do not have a plan. So I hoped someone else might pick up the plan, come up with a plan of their own, suggest what they might do differently. And the pivot point, frankly, was the county budget. I'm like, okay, there's some things I am just not appreciating that the current candidates are doing. But the budget is really telling. And so I waited until the budget process. And once that was done, I'm like, no one has a plan. No one is saying what they're actually going to do. And we need a plan, and I have one. I'm going to jump in.
Okay, so you have been and continue to be a loud critic of the current chair, Jessica Vega Peterson. What would you do differently than her if elected?
I would say everything. That's kind of a flippant response, but it's somewhat true. I would start with a plan for what I was going to do on day one from when I entered office. She did not have one, but I actually do, and it's been posted. And I would follow that plan. I would bring in experts and surround myself with experts in what the county actually does and systems and function, so that we could immediately on day one start implementing the plan. And then I would engage with fellow commissioners to talk to them, work with people who know the work and the experts, and listen to our community about what they need, and then implement solutions based on the plan. Then I would measure results, I would hold folks accountable, and I would do a budget that, rather than just recycling the old budget and the same services, actually focuses on measurable outcomes and spending tied to results.
So you ran against Chair Jessica Vega Peterson in 2022 and lost by 25,000 votes. What's different about your message today?
Well, I think a couple of things. First of all, I think the reality of Jessica Vega Peterson has revealed itself. And these were things that running for office is a very different skill set than actually being in office and doing the job. And I'm not the world's greatest politician. I'm not allergic to criticism. They're allergic to criticism. I focus on outcomes. I see problems, I run in and get things done, but I'm not a salesperson. I think she sold something that sounded good, and she wanted to be chair, but she didn't want to do what it takes to actually help our county. I'm the person that wants to do what it takes to actually help our county. I have a plan that's out there, people can vet, and I think I've proven myself over the past 4 years as she has maybe disproven herself.
Okay, in a post on Facebook, you wrote your plan includes reorganizing the county from a collection of siloed, unfocused programs with little oversight to a results-driven system with short-term results within 1 year.
Yes.
What are those short-term results that we can expect within 1 year if you're elected?
Well, I think there would be a very different feel from day one because I would enter and Immediately, literally on day one, I would do a independent third-party review, forensic and performance review of homeless services to reveal what is going wrong so that we can fix it. I think open the windows, open the doors, shine a light, and be transparent about what's happening in our process. I would actually, instead of what the county does now, and say, we are measuring outcomes when what they mean is we're measuring, meetings that we've held or referrals places or whatever, and that we actually know how many people are living on our streets. By the end of year one, we would know exactly to the person how many people are living on our streets, what they need, and we would be getting those things to them to help them. I would be putting a mental health system together, which currently does not exist anywhere in the county, even though it is the local mental health authority. I would be doing, it's hard to say, like, what wouldn't change during my first year, but you would notice that things were getting done and things were working.
If elected, will the county hand out taxpayer-funded tents and tarps?
So right now, I would say probably not, but I don't know. For me, what we get distracted on are these tiny little parts of the problem that are so, it's like, oh, let's focus on that when people are dying on our streets in huge numbers and our systems are broken.
So you're saying the taxpayer-funded tents and tarps are just a tiny part?
They're barely a blip in terms of what the work of actually addressing homeless services is.
Okay.
I would get people off our streets, and it would be by actually tying them to services that they need for stability instead of the revolving doors we have. I would shine the light and tie spending to results, and results would be decreasing actual homelessness on our street.
So many residents want both compassion and accountability when it comes to addressing homelessness. Where do you think county leaders have gotten that balance wrong? How do you walk that line?
I really love that question. And I think county leaders have gotten everything wrong about that. And,
you were a county leader, though. So did you get something wrong about that?
Well, I think even on the story actually with Pat Doris, I expressed that the county is the big decisions about the county are made by the county chair. That's why all of us are running to be county chair. And so look at any of the people running as like, what has anyone really done to change anything at the county? It's the chair who changes systems and can make things happen. Except I will say there was one thing that I changed. The only thing that changed that people know about that made a difference that the chair did not want to do was ambulance services. I got ambulances to respond to emergencies when people called 911 with a medical emergency because I pushed for it. And that was not anyone else. It was only me. And it was against the board. It was against the chair. She could have changed that with a stroke of the pen. And it was because I rallied the public and I brought community members together and leaders in our fire bureaus in Gresham and, in Portland to say, what you're doing is risking lives because we don't have ambulances. And so we changed that, the approach. So I did the one big thing that happened from the county, but it is a matter of, again, that big picture, tying spending to results and showing people that what you're doing is not just taking people and like hiding them somewhere. We're actually ending homelessness because we are getting people services and we're getting them supports. And everywhere else in the country, frankly, does it better than we do. So it's not hard to find anywhere else to base our plans on. But I took all of that, working with our own leaders here in the community, put it into a plan that will actually not just say, oh, we're going to measure if we just kind of hide someone over here, put them in a place, or they get a shelter for a night. I'm going to actually get people from unsheltered homelessness into stability so that they can lead thriving, successful lives, that's what I count as success, and that's what I would do as chair.
Okay, Sharon Meieran, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Okay, now is your turn. What do you think about Sharon Meieran's campaign for county chair? Did anything that she say tonight stand out to you? Let us know. Email the story at kgw.com or call and leave us a voicemail, 503-226-5090.